cactus and succulent growers, I'm Lynn and welcome to Desert Plants of Avalon. And in today's video, this is a special video request from my wonderful friend Sarah at Worth Valley Chihuahuas here on YouTube. So hi Sarah. Sarah wanted to know, she said, Lynn, can you do a video on all of your old lady cacti that you have in your collection? So the old lady cacti are all of the lovely hairies, mostly the globular cacti such as this. So in this video I'm going to show you all of my old lady woolly hairy little stunners. First of all, Sarah, thank you so much for the video request and thank you so much for your awesome support and friendship on my channel, as to all of you. Now, I just want to start off this video by saying I have made a video already on why do cacti have hair, such as this Cephaloceres sinalis here. And if you want to know why on earth do some cacti have hair, then you must go ahead and watch that video after you've watched this one. And I'll link that video up above. And I've also made a video on all of the hairy cacti that I have in my collection as well. So I want you to go ahead and watch that video also after this one. And I link that video up above as well. But there's the old lady cacti, the same as the old men cacti. There's not really such a thing as such, but it's more of a nickname that we give to cacti that have a particular look about them. For example, the old men cacti will be cacti that are more columnar, that sort of resemble more, probably male. Cacti don't really have a male or female about them, like they're not animals or anything like that, but it's more of a bit of a fun name, that the old lady and old men cacti, that is often, these hairy cacti are often called. So, this video particularly is going to be about the more globular shaped cacti that are sort of globular, that have more of a feminine appearance to them. And I'm going to show you what I've got in my collection, all of my little female old lady hairies. The most common, the main one that's often known as the old lady cactus will be this one, the Myria Haana, which is the most common one. So then the first one I'm going to talk about is probably one of the most common types of old lady cacti. And that is my Myria Haana. And this is this stunning little beauty here. Well, quite big beauty when you think of the size of my hand. And this one is an absolutely gorgeous, fluffy, beautiful cactus that produces gorgeous, beautiful pink flowers in a gorgeous ring every year all around the top. And I'll just show you a photograph of what this stunner looks like when she is blooming beautiful. Just look at this, guys. She is gorgeous. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her beautiful blooms again this year. And this, by the way, is last year's flowerings. It's forming seed pods going all the way into a little ring where the flowers from last year was. And these seed pods, as I say, can take up to a year to actually fully develop. I've harvested a few the other day, and these ones I'm going to be picking out. They just suddenly pop up on Mammillarias, and the seeds when you harvest them are full of little tiny little seeds. And I have made quite a few videos in the past on how to harvest seeds from Mammillaria cacti. So I'll link up above to a video if you want to know more on how to harvest the Mammillaria seed pods, fruit pods on your Mammillarias, should you be noticing these little fruit pods popping up at this time of year. As I say, this particular cactus is a very common one in cultivation, often is seen for sale, because even when it's not in flower, you can see its beautiful white fluffy hair is absolutely beautiful in itself. It's a gorgeous cactus. And I have a couple of these. I'm just going to show you my other one. So this is the size of this one here compared to my hand. Beautiful stunner. And then I'll just take you around here, and I can show you my other one, which is a really tiny one. Another little Myria Haana here. And isn't she just cute? I'm obviously going to be repotting this year because look at that, roots are coming through, and a lovely little fluffy stunner. And what I find amazing about these woolly fluffy cacti is that the hair does feel so much like an animal or even human hair. It's so soft. It's quite remarkable how the cacti can produce these hair. But as I've mentioned in previous videos, the reason why they produce this lovely white hair is for a number of reasons. One is also just to protect themselves from the harsh rays of the sun, and also to protect themselves from cold as well. It's almost like wearing a little bit of a fluffy woolly jumper. And also in their natural habitats, this hair can also collect sort of moisture from the air when it's very dry. The hairs have a multiple of uses. It's just quite remarkable, to be honest. Now here is another Myria Haana that I've also got. As I say, I've got a few of these, and this one is another smaller one, but a lovely woolly wonder there. Absolutely gorgeous. And this hasn't flowered for me yet, but as I say, I'll be looking forward to when this flowers, hopefully this spring. Just a gorgeous, lovely woolly stunner. And this one here is another sort of quite common cactus. This is Myria Pamosa, and this one is absolutely quite unique because it has its little fluffiness with more like feathers. And I'll just show you close up. This personally myself, this is my old Myria Pamosa I've had for many years. It hasn't been doing too well. In fact, I made a video last year on it when I was repotting it, and I had to repropagate it because it sort of lost its roots. But it's picking up a lot now. It's coming back again. And this is a particular cactus that I will, and this is one of the very few that I will still water in the winter, give a wee bit of a very light watering to. I keep it mostly dry, but in an ideal situation, the Myria Pamosa does like to have a wee bit of water over the winter, maybe once every 6 weeks, because it is known also as being a bit of a winter flowering one. It produces gorgeous little white flowers. And the reason why I keep this mostly dry, because it is in my polytunnel, which is kept cold at 5°C, 41 Fahrenheit minimum. But I do have to come in here and give this one a very light watering about every 6 weeks. And when I say light, just enough to dampen the soil, just to stop the roots dying back. Unfortunately, it hasn't come into flower this winter, but I think that's because it's still in recovery. And if you didn't see the video I made when I did the sort of dramatic save of this Myria Pamosa, then do go ahead and watch it after this video if you want to know a little bit more about this plant and my history with it, and I'll link that video up above. But as you can see here, I'm very happy to see it is coming back into growth, all this new growth here. But what's remarkable about this Pamosa is it has sort of beautiful sort of soft feathery spines that are arranged just like feathers. And as I say, mine isn't particularly the healthiest looking, but it is recovering. But if you want to see what these look like when they're looking their absolute best, do a little Google search on the Myria Pamosa. But it's recovering, which I'm happy about. And again, it's sort of one of the old lady cacti as well, because it's a lovely fluffy beauty. And as I say, cacti don't have male and female as such about them. They're not animals. But if they have to have an appearance where they look more feminine than the old lady, this would sort of fit into that group as well. Now the next one will be my Myria Bakasana, and this is also quite a popular plant in cultivation, another lovely fluffy stunner. And this one has sort of gorgeous little bronzy red spines that are hooked underneath this lovely white wool fur, and I cannot sort of stroke it. And the reason for that is because it has these little hooked spines. I don't know whether you can see from there, but they have these hooks. So if you go like that with your fingers to touch the fluffiness, you will get hooked. But it is another popular one. Again, this produces gorgeous little flowers in the spring and summertime. And these flowers have a gorgeous sort of a creamy, lovely whitey creamy colour to them. And I'll show you a picture now of what this beautiful little cactus looks like when it's in flower. It is absolutely beautiful. Again, Myrrias are known for producing their lovely ring of flowers. Another little fluffy cutie there. So another one that will fall under the old lady cacti. And then I want to show you this. And I'm going to be doing a separate video on my history and how long I have had this gorgeous Roua Albipilosa for. This one is probably one of my most prized cacti in my collection, and I have had this for a very long time. I think possibly about 28 years. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing a separate video on my history of this and how I care for this. But basically, this is one that would also fall under the old lady cacti, because it is very, very, very fluffy, and it's one that doesn't bite, so you can run your hands over it, and it's like, oh yes, it's like touching a furry animal. Multiple pups. And this one is one that produces the most awesome of bright orange flowers during the spring and summertime, guys. And this one has made a massive recovery for me, because it wasn't doing too well over the past couple of years or so. It stopped flowering, and even though I always make sure I water it well and everything, it just struggled a bit. But last year I'd given it a bit of a fresh revamp, and it has really gone really well now. Look at that. And all the new growth from last summer as well on here. So I would love to see this flower this spring, because I'm going to show you a photograph now of just how awesome the flowers look on this Roua Albipilosa. Look at that, guys. What an absolute beaut. Stunning. So you can see why I want to see her flower again. But she's doing very, very well, and also very easy cactus to look after as well. This has been knocked back many times, unfortunately, over the years when it's had spider mite attacks, and that I think you could probably see here where this new growth has recovered from it. And I always treat the spider mite with neem oil and horticultural soap, and it always recovers. Roua in general are so prone to annoying beasties like spider mite, but the plant has been in my care for an extremely long time. So do stay tuned when I do an individual video on this beaut in the next day or two, because I think this is one that definitely deserves its own special video, and definitely talking about my history behind this beaut. But as you can see by the flowers, it's absolutely stunning. Now there's this Roua as well, and although it doesn't really come under the category of old lady cacti, I thought I'd include it because it's globular as well, and it is hairy and furry. And this is Roua Apricot Ice, and this is a lovely little furry one with gorgeous little pups. Again, it's not one that is really the old lady cacti, but I thought I'd include it because of its shape and its lovely soft furry woolliness. This one is also one that produces stunning orangey apricot flowers in the spring and summer, hence the name Roua Apricot Ice. And if you want to see a picture of how stunning the flowers are, just take a look at this, guys. Isn't it just beautiful? Roua Apricot Ice. And that is why the flowers on Roua are very beautiful. And by the way, guys, I think Roua cacti are very underestimated. You don't hear them that much in collections, and they're such easy-going plants to grow, and they're very easy to get to flower as well. Biggest problem, as I mentioned, is spider mite. They have a particular love for Roua, but if you can keep on top of that with the neem oil and pest treatments and things like that, they're pretty easy-going plants, and they pretty recover quickly as well. Beautiful little bloomers. Now, as I mentioned, there's quite a lot of hairies, woolly hairies in my collection, but not all of the hairy cacti would fall under the old lady cacti, obviously. And this example here, my lovely Apuntias, Austrocylindra Apuntias here, vestitas, that I got from my awesome friend Ziggy at Ziggy's Cactus channel. These wouldn't fall under the old lady cacti purely just because of their shape. And there's really not such a thing as such as old men or old lady cacti. It's more a bit of a nickname that we put to cacti purely because of their appearance. I've got a lot of hairies, and as I mentioned earlier, I have made a video on all the old men cacti that I have in my collection, such as this Cephalocereus sinalis here, this lovely woolly wonder that I nickname Einstein, and my lovely old Espos stoa. So it just depends a lot on the shape. I personally love all these woolly wonders. As you can see, many different types of them here. But do check out the other video I've made on all of the old men cacti that I have in my collection. And as I link, that video is already up above, so do go ahead and watch it after this one if you want to see what old men woolies I've got. I just love these woolly wonders, guys. So then Sarah at Worth Valley Chihuahuas, and yeah, I love that name, thank you so much for the video request. And as I say, the most common old lady cacti would be the Myria Haana, because that's actually its nickname as old lady cacti, purely because that's what it's commonly known as. But I thought I'd include a few of my other sort of old lady cacti collection too. Absolutely amazing. I just love cacti because there's so many different shapes, forms of cacti. Like one cactus, if somebody says I have a cactus, well, how long is a piece of string? It's just look at that, guys. They come in many different shapes, forms, styles, and the flowers vary so much. You can get the most spiniest of cactus, such as this one, this Trichocereus, spines to pierce you right through to the bone, to cacti that are practically leafy, such as Epiphyllum, such as these. They're just incredible. So many different shapes and forms, guys. Yet they never fail to amaze me. They're just the most awesome of plants to grow. And thank you all so much for watching. Do you have any old lady cacti in your collection? Do let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't done already, then do please subscribe and give that notification bell a click. And also please do like this video, because every like really does help my channel. And do leave a comment, as I mentioned, down below, because even a heart or smiley face really helps the algorithm. Also, for lots more information on caring and growing cacti, so then do check out the many articles I've got on my website, desertplantsofAvalon.com. I want to wish you all a hairy and woolly, cactus-powered day, little woolly wonders.